Her car was sideways in a ditch, smoke curling from the hood, her heels sunk in mud as rain poured down. And then he showed up. A quiet single dad in a worn flannel, holding an umbrella over her head like it was second nature. She was a powerful businesswoman worth millions. But what he said after saving her life silenced her world. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. The wind howled like it had a score to settle. Icy sheets of rain blurred the highway as Victoria Lane, CEO of Lane Tech Industries, slammed the brakes. The Tesla skidded, hydroplaned, and within seconds, she found herself half off the road, car nose buried in a ditch. Her phone was dead. Her designer coat was soaked. Her confidence rattled. She wasn't used to being helpless. Not until a beat-up Ford truck pulled over, its headlights slicing through the storm. The driver's door creaked open, and a man in a hoodie and flannel jacket stepped out. He was lean, tall, maybe in his mid-30s. There was something in the way he walked, measured, unshaken, like he'd been through worse. "Are you hurt?" he asked, voice calm. Victoria blinked. "I think I'm okay. Just shaken. My car won't start. Phone's dead. Mind if I take a look?" he offered, already squatting beside the hood. Steam hissed as he propped it open. He worked in silence for a few minutes. Victoria hugged herself, lips trembling. It wasn't just the cold. It was the humiliation. No one saw her like this. No one dared. "I'm Ethan," the man finally said, wiping grease from his fingers. "Single dad. Mechanic. And you got a busted ignition coil, Ms. Victoria." "Victoria Lane," she said hesitantly. He didn't flinch, didn't recognize the name. Or maybe he just didn't care. "I can tow you out," he said. "But the engine needs parts. Closest shop's shut by now." She nodded, stunned at how quickly he'd taken control. No sleazy glances. No questions about who she was. Just help. Quiet, kind help. As he towed her car to the side road, Victoria sat beside him in the truck's passenger seat. The interior smelled of peppermint gum and laundry detergent. A baby sock was stuffed in the dashboard vent. "You have kids?" she asked. "Yeah. One. Liam. 7 years old. Likes building robots from cereal boxes." She smiled despite herself. "He's lucky to have you." He shrugged. "He saved me first." They drove for miles in silence, the wipers tapping out a gentle rhythm. He took her to a tiny auto shop he owned, Ease Fix-It Garage, and told her to take the spare bedroom upstairs while he arranged parts for morning. "No charge," he said simply. "Storms don't care who you are. People should." The storm tapered off by morning, leaving the world wet, gray, and eerily quiet. But Victoria wasn't focused on the weather. She was still lying on the worn-out twin bed in Ethan's guest room, staring at the ceiling, processing the quiet shock of the night before. She wasn't used to kindness without expectation. No ulterior motives. No networking. No one treating her like a trophy or a gateway to something bigger. She heard muffled laughter downstairs. Slipping on the oversized flannel Ethan had left on the chair, she made her way down the creaky steps. In the small kitchen, sunlight spilled across faded tiles. The scent of coffee mixed with something sweet. Pancakes? And there he was, Ethan, flipping a pancake with one hand while a messy-haired little boy clung to the other. "Morning, Liam," he said with a smile. "Say hi to Mississippi Lane." Liam blinked at her with sleepy blue eyes, then offered her the spatula. "I saved you one," he said proudly. Victoria smiled, warmth blooming in her chest. "Thank you, Liam." Ethan poured her a cup of coffee, not asking how she took it, just somehow getting it exactly right. "Your car should be ready by noon. Already called in the part. You opened the shop early?" "I never closed," he said. "Storms don't wait." She studied him. His flannel sleeves were rolled, revealing rough, grease-stained forearms. His eyes were clear, patient, tired but not worn out. This man was built from quiet storms. Strong, grounded, real. She cleared her throat. "You don't know who I am, do you?" He paused, then turned the stove off. "I know you're someone who needed help." That was enough. That landed harder than she expected. She placed her coffee down, suddenly unsure of herself. "I'm the CEO of Lane Tech. We build drone logistics systems. Our company just signed a deal with the Department of Transportation, $400 million. Ethan nodded, unimpressed. "Good for you. No request for funding." No fake smile. Victoria felt like she was standing on one of her own rooftops, but barefoot, no guardrails. I want to offer you something, she said, voice gentler now. You said you're a mechanic. I could use someone like you. We got shops, tech divisions, everything. I'll give you a job, a place to live, full benefits, school for your son, better than the local district can ever give. Liam was playing with a toy fire truck on the floor, humming softly to himself. Ethan turned and leaned against the counter, arms crossed. You want to give me a job because I helped you? She blinked. Well, yes, but it's more than that. You're clearly smart. You didn't hesitate. You fixed my car, towed it, gave me a place to sleep, and fed me. That's rare. You did all that without knowing I was rich. And if I didn't know, he asked. She paused. You still would have helped. I can tell. He was silent for a moment, then looked down at Liam. My son's the reason I wake up, he said. I've worked jobs that paid triple what I earn now, but they made me a ghost. I missed his first steps, his first fever, his third birthday. Victoria felt the weight of his words settle in her chest. Ethan continued. I don't want to wear a tie and miss bedtime stories. I want to be here in this small town, running my shop, taking Liam to school, and teaching him how to rebuild a carburetor. Victoria's jaw tightened. She hadn't expected a refusal. Not from someone clearly struggling. Not from someone who lived above a one-room garage with no dishwasher. But I could change your life. Ethan stepped forward. Not threatening. Just calm. No disrespect, Ms. Lane. But maybe your version of a better life isn't better for everyone. Victoria didn't know what to say. No one had ever said no to her. Not at this level. Not without an ask. She stared at him, trying to understand. This wasn't pride. It wasn't arrogance. It was purpose. The kind she hadn't felt in years. Liam tugged her sleeve. Do you want to see my room? He asked. She smiled, blinking back something that surprised her. I'd love to. He grabbed her hand and led her up to a tiny corner space filled with drawings, handmade toys, and a cardboard robot with soda caps for eyes. This one's Mega Zap. He protects people. You made him. Dad helped. She knelt beside it. You're really talented. Liam beamed. We build a new one every week. One day, I'll make one that flies. Victoria looked around the cramped, happy space. The kind of joy that money couldn't fake. When she came back downstairs, Ethan had packed her car with a small care package, tools, jumper cables, a charged battery pack, a flashlight, and a note. You never know what the road might throw at you, he said with a grin. She took a deep breath. If you ever change your mind, I'll let you know. She hesitated. Why help me at all? He thought for a beat. Because one day, someone helped me, and I never forgot it. Victoria got in the car, engine humming perfectly, but something inside her felt off balance, rearranged. As she pulled away, she looked in the mirror and saw Liam waving. Ethan with a quiet nod. She didn't know it yet, but this wasn't the end. It was just a start. 3 weeks passed. Victoria Lane sat in the glass-paneled boardroom of Lane Tech HQ, surrounded by executives in tailored suits. A polished woman with the power to move millions with a single signature. Yet, her thoughts kept drifting. Not to mergers, not to drones, but to a small-town mechanic with calloused hands and a little boy who built flying robots from cereal boxes. Ms. Lane, are you with us? Her COO asked gently. She blinked. Sorry. What were we saying? They were reviewing proposals for expanding to rural logistics, testing drone drop-offs in hard-to-reach towns. She stared at the map. Her finger traced the outline of one shaded area on the board, Pine Hollow, where Ethan lived. That night, Victoria skipped the driver and the penthouse. She got behind the wheel herself, the same Tesla now repaired and humming. Her assistant had protested. You've got a gala tomorrow, ma'am. But she needed clarity more than cocktails and flashbulbs. The road back to Pine Hollow felt different now. Familiar, almost comforting. The storm was long gone, but she still remembered every second of that night. How it changed her. As she rolled into the town's main street, the neon sign of Ease Fix-It Garage glowed softly under the dusk sky. She parked and stepped out. Her heels clicked against the pavement. A breeze danced with her silk scarf. The garage door was open. Ethan was inside, wiping his hands on a rag, leaning over the hood of a dusty pickup. His sleeves were rolled again. Sweat glistened on his temples. He looked up and froze. You're back, he said, blinking like he wasn't sure if she was real. I said I'd let you know if I changed my mind, she replied with a smile. But I'm not here to offer a job. I'm here with an idea. He leaned against the work table, arms folded. I'm listening. She handed him a folder. Inside were blueprints, models, and maps. We're starting a rural drone testing division. But we don't just need data. We need people. People who know these areas. Who know what works off the grid. People who can think without a corporate rulebook. He scanned the designs. You want to put Pine Hollow on your map. I want you to lead this location, she said. On your terms. Set the rules. Pick the team. Stay close to Liam. We'll build around you, not over you. Ethan was quiet for a long time. Liam's voice suddenly rang out from behind the garage wall. Dad, I got the rocket to go up this time. Victoria smiled. Maybe one day he'll be building our drones. Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. You don't give up, do you? I'm not trying to pull you out of your life, she said, her voice softer now. I'm just asking if I can build something with you. Something better. Something kind. That word hit him harder than she knew. Kind. He set the folder down. You're different than the night you showed up. She nodded. So are you. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he walked outside and called for Liam. The boy came running, holding a soda bottle rocket in one hand. His face lit up when he saw her. Miss Victoria. She knelt and gave him a quick hug. Still building robots. Now rockets too, he said proudly. Ethan watched them for a moment, eyes thoughtful. Then he turned to her. I'm in, he said, but on one condition. She raised a brow. Name it. No suits. No boardrooms. No fake smiles. She grinned. Deal. He extended a hand. She didn't take it. Instead, she leaned in and gave him a light, grateful hug. One that said thank you without needing the words. That night, they sat around Ethan's small dinner table. Pizza boxes open, maps spread across the wood, Liam drawing with crayons between blueprints. It didn't feel like a business deal. It felt like something more. Like maybe this was the better life. For both of them. Word spread faster than wildfire in Pine Hollow. 1 week after Victoria Lane's second visit, a convoy of Lane Tech contractors rolled into town. Surveyors, engineers, and technicians began laying the groundwork for the drone logistics field office. Right there on the old fairgrounds near Ethan's garage. Locals gathered at the diner whispering, speculating, stirring up decades of silence. Why would the queen of the city come here? Did she really give the garage guy a job? Maybe he saved her life or something. The truth wasn't far off. But the stories? They spun fast, wild, and louder than either Ethan or Victoria could control. It didn't take long for the media to catch on. 2 weeks later, a black SUV with tinted windows rolled into town. Behind it, a satellite van from a national news network. Reporters shoved cameras in Ethan's face as he stepped outside to check on Liam's bike tire. Mr. Reed, how did a single dad from a garage get the attention of one of the top 10 CEOs in America? Is it true you rejected her job offer at first? Are you too romantically involved? Ethan gritted his jaw and lifted Liam into his arms protectively. No comment, he said calmly. Then he walked back inside and shut the door. Inside the garage, Victoria was on speakerphone with her PR director. I don't care what the tabloids print, she said sharply. We don't let them harass him. Get ahead of it, or I will. When she hung up, she turned to Ethan, her eyes apologetic. I didn't think this would happen. I'm sorry. He rubbed his face. I don't mind people knowing I got lucky, but I don't want Liam dragged into anything. She nodded. Then let's set boundaries. No press on the property. No interviews. We put out one official statement about the drone project, nothing else. He studied her. You always this good at damage control? She gave a tired smile. You have to be, when the world waits for you to slip. He motioned toward the small table where Liam was coloring. That's why I live small. Less to lose. Victoria looked at Liam, then at Ethan. Her voice turned low. I used to think living big was the goal. Now, I'm not sure I was ever really living at all. The conversation was interrupted by a knock at the door. Ethan opened it cautiously and instantly tensed. Ethan, said the woman standing there. She wore heels, sharp red lipstick, and a fitted blazer. Tall, poised, and cold as frost. Claire, he said flatly. Victoria stepped forward, sensing the tension. Claire's gaze flicked to her, unimpressed. You must be the reason my son hasn't returned any of my messages. Victoria blinked. Son? Ethan stood his ground. What are you doing here? I came to see Liam, Claire said, and to tell you that I'm filing for joint custody. The air dropped. Victoria stepped back, watching the storm unfold. Ethan's voice stayed calm, but something flickered in his eyes, pain, old and raw. You haven't called in 4 years. You disappeared. I had my reasons, Claire snapped. But now you're in the media. My lawyers say the court will care about that, and about how a kid shouldn't be raised over a garage. Victoria took a sharp breath, but said nothing. It wasn't her place. Claire looked directly at her. And you, Miss CEO, you think your drone project gives you a say in my son's life? I don't, Victoria said softly. But I think he does. Liam had walked into the room, wide-eyed. Mom. Claire bent down awkwardly. Hi, sweetheart. But Liam didn't move toward her. Instead, he looked at Ethan, confused. Why now? He whispered. Ethan crouched beside him. It's okay, buddy. You don't have to go anywhere. Not unless you want to. Claire's lips tightened. This isn't over. She turned and walked out, heels clicking like gunshots. Victoria slowly exhaled. I didn't know. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. She left when Liam was 3. Just vanished. I didn't even know where she was until last year when she sent a birthday card with no return address. Victoria sat beside him. She'll try to use your job, the attention, the cameras. Twist it. He nodded. I know. But you're not alone anymore, she added. He looked at her, really looked, and for the first time, she saw his walls start to crack. Why are you still here, Victoria? He asked. She smiled faintly. Because I'm in it. I don't want to change your life. I want to be part of it. Only if you let me. He reached across the table and took her hand. For a long moment, neither said a word. Outside, reporters packed up and drove off. Inside, something far more important was beginning. The courtroom was cold, not in temperature, but in tension. Ethan sat at the defendant's table in his best press shirt, gripping the worn edge of his folder. Victoria sat behind him in the gallery, her presence silent but firm. Beside her, Liam clutched a small drawing, 2 stick figures holding hands, Dad and me. Claire sat across the aisle, dressed in high fashion and flanked by a high-powered custody attorney. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but the crowd outside had grown each day since the custody hearing had made headlines. Single dad at center of custody battle, with CEO's involvement stirs controversy. Ethan had refused interviews. He didn't want fame. He wanted his son. And today, everything was on the line. The judge, a stern but fair man with gray hair and tired eyes, cleared his throat. Ms. Claire Duval, you claim Mr. Reed's recent media exposure and living conditions are inadequate for a minor child. Is that correct? Claire stood, her voice honeyed and false. Yes, Your Honor. My son deserves privacy, stability, the kind of future I can provide. The judge nodded. And Mr. Reed, how do you respond? Ethan stood slowly. Your Honor, he began, voice steady. I'm not a rich man. I don't live in a mansion or send my son to private school. But I give him breakfast every morning. I walk him to school. I fix his science projects and read him stories at night. He took a breath. I never once abandoned him. Claire rolled her eyes slightly, but the judge was listening. Ethan continued. I don't think being featured in the news makes me unfit. I didn't ask for attention. I help someone in need. That's the kind of example I want my son to see. The judge raised a brow. And this business relationship with Ms. Lanetek. Ethan glanced back at Victoria, who gave him a small nod. We're developing a community drone project, Ethan said. It was my idea to keep the operation small, local. I get to work and still be home with Liam. It's the life I chose for him. Claire's lawyer stood. Your Honor, Ms. Lane's involvement clouds Mr. Reed's judgment. There may be an inappropriate relationship. I object. Victoria's voice rang out from the gallery. The courtroom went silent. The judge frowned. Ma'am, you are not on trial here. Victoria stood anyway. Then let me be on record. The judge hesitated, then motioned her forward. She walked with calm, graceful certainty. I'm Victoria Lane. I've been in rooms with kings, presidents, and Fortune 50 boardrooms, and none of them showed the strength, integrity, or love this man shows for his son. Claire scoffed. How would you know anything about being a parent? Victoria turned slowly. Because my mother was never around, and my father loved his image more than his family. I know what absence feels like. Ethan Reed is present. Fully. No amount of money or lawyers can fake that. She looked at the judge. He saved my life, yes. But I'm here because he changed it. The courtroom fell silent. The judge took notes quietly for a moment, then looked up. I'd like to speak to the child. In chambers, he said. Ethan bent down beside Liam, heart thudding. You don't have to say anything you don't want, okay? Liam nodded bravely. 15 minutes later, the door opened. The judge came back, followed by Liam, holding his crayon drawing tightly. Everyone stood. The judge sat, then cleared his throat. Liam was clear, confident, and thoughtful. He said, and I quote, I want to live with Dad. Because he listens. He never leaves. And he makes the best pancakes. A gentle ripple of laughter broke through the tension. The judge continued. Ms. Duval, your sudden reappearance after 4 years, timed with Mr. Reed's public attention, raises concerns. This court awards full custody to Mr. Reed, with supervised visitation granted to Ms. Duval on a bi-weekly basis. Ethan exhaled for the first time all day. Claire stood, stone-faced. This isn't over. No, Ethan said quietly. It's just beginning for him. As the courtroom emptied, reporters surged outside. Ethan shielded Liam while Victoria handled the cameras. No comment today, she said. But one message. Not all heroes wear suits. Some wear flannel. The crowd cheered. Back at the garage, Ethan sat on the front steps while the sun dipped low. Liam ran around in the yard, launching his toy rocket into the air. Victoria joined him, handing him a root beer. You're a good man, Ethan. I'm just a dad, he said, cracking the bottle cap. No, she said. You're the man I look up to. He turned to her slowly. You really mean that? I do, she said. I came here for logistics and drone systems, but I found something better. He raised an eyebrow. What's that? She looked him in the eye. A reason to stay. He didn't reply right away, but he didn't need to. He just reached out and took her hand, like it was always meant to be there. And for the first time in a long time, neither of them felt alone.